guys, it's time for another Teddy Talks ASMR video. I hope you're doing okay. I feel great. School has been going very well. You're probably wondering where I'm at. I am at school. In a previous video, I mentioned that in between my room and another classroom, there was a closet. This is the closet. It's kind of a lot of things. It's a book room. The book room, if you look behind me, has a lot of books. And that's where we keep my books, basically, that I can use. And if you see how many there are, I really cannot complain. There's a lot of great books already here, and what's kind of cool, it's like every teacher that had my position before me has left me something without even realizing it. I use some of these. Sometimes we read parts of the book, or sometimes we read the whole book. I'm a very big advocate for reading the entire book. We don't really do enough of that anymore, in my opinion. So, although some days it can be kind of a battle, dead of winter, and we're in the middle of a book, and the kids want it to be over. I do feel like there's a lot of productive conversation at the very end, in regards to following a whole story through. We don't follow the stories through in their entirety anymore. Okay, so this is a book room. This is an office. This is where the AC is at, the air conditioning. That's a fun little story if we want to get into it for later. Probably not this video, but the AC is back here, and I guess it's kind of like a storage room too at the same time. So there's that. Okay, so why is Teddy Talks ASMR wearing a hoodie at school when I've been stressing being professional? So it is homecoming week. When I went to the park, you may or may not have seen that video yet. I went to the park and I talked about my pet peeves with teaching and education. So if that has not come out yet, that will be out soon, either Monday or Thursday at some point. I've just been feeling really inspired, and I have been making a lot of content to post. Yeah, I'm kind of debating what I want to post, when I want to post. I just have a lot to do, and it's very exciting, and I've really kind of hit a wave of productivity. So thank you for watching and encouraging me to keep making these, because I've been very productive. Why am I wearing a hoodie? So it is homecoming week. That was the point. And yesterday was a Monday. It was Minnesota Day. I wore a Packers sweater, and I talked about that in the video, so I'll save that for later. But today was Generation Day, so every class dressed as a different generation. It was like babies, teenagers, adults, elderly, and then the teachers were the teens. And I work in a very diverse school, so the definition of teenager is a lot. There's not just one kind of teen that you can pinpoint. There's a lot of kinds of teens, so you really can't dress like one one way and expect everybody to get it. So what did I do? I thought it's a Tuesday, it's the first full week. I'm feeling tired because we're back, baby. Like, we're off to the races. And I kind of made it a makeshift pajama day. Yeah, I'm kind of figuring out like where I want to move. By the way, I'm not on a noisy chair. Since I'm in the closet, this chair is quiet. But I hope that if I stay like this, you can hear me, because I feel like if you can't see my mouth, it's a little harder to make out what I'm saying if you're actually watching the video. And if you're not, that's fine too, if you're not watching the video, because I don't always watch the visual aspect, although it helps a lot, I think. I would say most of the time I am watching the visual. Back to the point. Gonna switch here. So, yeah, I made it a makeshift pajama day, and I have a hoodie and a hoodie and pajama pants on. For some reason, when I make ASMR, I can never correctly, like, speak. That's not true, but I mean, like, when something's plural, why do I have to correct myself? I don't know. So, what I wanted to talk about today, now that we have the context established, I wanted to drop some lore. The more I do that, the easier it gets, and I really like how it sounds. You can really only get that sound in a Blue Yeti and that binaural presence and that input, but not every microphone has, by the way. That was a small So, what I wanted to talk about was why I became a teacher. Because as I got dressed up as a teenager, this does not resonate as teenager to me, because back when I was in school, about 10 years ago in high school, being a teenager looked very different. And it just made me think about, because it's been almost exactly a decade, it's been a decade, by the way, but it's been about a decade since I've graduated high school. It made me think about how education has changed, and really what they don't tell you. So shh, it's a secret. It's not, but what they don't tell you is when you want to become a teacher, the teaching that you think you're entering will not exist by the time you graduate. And that's okay, that's not good or bad, but no one tells you that. And I just realized that today, that the job that I thought I was getting is not the job that I'm doing necessarily. I graduated high school 10 years ago, and I think I've been in the real world teaching, like I said, for like 5 going on 6 years. So I graduated like half a decade ago from college, so I'm pretty far removed from the academic realm. I also, not to brag, have my master's. I am proud of that. That's a whole other video. Be careful. Don't go get your master's just because you feel like you need to do something. I got my master's so I get more money, but you can get it for whatever reason. It's also probably a good thing that I got it, because I learned a lot from that, actually. Getting your master's, I think, can sometimes be more fun than your bachelor's, because with your master's, it is focused, right? It's like something that you really, really want to learn. So I'm joking about the money, kind of, but also I did learn a lot. A lot of things that I learned because I have my master's in reading, an emphasis in reading, and I think it's like educational science or something. I used a lot. It definitely improved my teaching. So I've been talking in the present. I want to take you back. I'm gonna keep trying to do those visual triggers, by the way, if you are watching the audio. So, where do we begin? So, something that's gonna be like kind of a foundation standard on this channel is I will repeat myself. I don't care if other people repeat themselves. Maybe it does get annoying and you can yell at me in the comments if you want to. But there's just things that I repeat all the time, and I realize I repeat things so much, like in a certain way on this channel, because every day I repeat myself so much. I sometimes forget if I say something. Sometimes I'll tell one class something and forget to tell the other class, or I tell the same class like 1,000,000 times and they will say you told us already, but sometimes they need it like 10 repetitions, and that's not just directions, it could be like anything, right? I feel like I'm also getting better at grabbing things and not being afraid to drop them. Okay. Okay, so I grew up in Minnesota. I grew up a little ways outside of Minneapolis, Minnesota. Shout out the city. I'm so stupid. So growing up, teaching was very prevalent in my family. That's kind of like the first foundation. There was a understanding that teaching was important and education was important and education was going to get you somewhere. I didn't know where, but it was going to get you somewhere, right? So my mom is a teacher. She's actually, she teaches at a college. I won't go into specifics, but she teaches some pretty cool things. I think when I get to talk to people about it, they don't know that someone could teach that. What do you think? I don't know. Maybe one day I can get into it if she ever finds out that I do this. I don't think she'd understand this, or maybe she would. I don't know. Hey. So she teaches college, and I think she did some other things too. I was actually born as she was teaching. That's so crazy. I have no outline for this video, but I really wanted to do it, especially in the book room, since I teach reading. It just was a perfect opportunity. So, I'm born, mom is teaching, during class she leaves. My aunt she did not pass away. I feel like when you say was, it sounds bad. She was a principal. I'm pretty sure she retired. We're good. Aunt was a principal, and then my grandma that is deceased, she, I think, did elementary, and then she did daycare later in her life, I'm pretty sure. When you get your family history, it's never laid out in, like, a piece of paper. You gotta grab those bits of history, and I'm not perfect, so I don't know if I ever get anything wrong, right? That's why I think oral history is so cool. The fact that you had to remember all that in your head and present that generation after generation after generation is pretty interesting to me, and we don't talk about that enough. In my opinion. That's my opinion. Okay. Guys, I think that we're gonna have fun on this channel. I'm sorry. My personality is starting to come out a little bit, which is why I wanted to do this too. I was very subdued at the start. Okay. Teaching is the first foundation. Also, growing up, so I lived in the suburbs. I didn't grow up in the city. I was in the suburbs, out of Minneapolis. Technically, I don't know. That's a whole other thing. Like, when people consider themselves living in the city living in the suburbs. Or they're like, I live in the city, but they're in the suburbs, right? I'm not gonna pretend like I lived in the city. Growing up, I had some childhood friends that lived around us, and my neighbor across the street, it was him and me and like other neighbors, but the neighbor across the street, he had a brother that had special needs, and his brother is still alive and doing great, and I would love to reunite someday. That'd be really cool. That's like my childhood right there. We could just get together and go loose. But okay, so this concept is sometimes difficult for people to understand, and I'm not sure why, because it makes sense to me. So you don't know things until you know them. So you don't know things unless you know them or are taught them, right? So to us, this like group of neighborhood kids, we just included his brother in everything, but no one told me what special needs was or what a disability was, because I'm like 4 or 5 or something. I wouldn't understand that, I guess. It wasn't until I got older that somebody, and I think it was their mom, like actually was the first person to tell me that I could have a job working with people like my friend's brother. And I will never forget that day. Even as a kid, something like kind of clicked. I was like, oh, I could do this as a living or for like a job. And I'm pretty sure his mom was talking about different things that I could do, because at that point they were already thinking about the future, and this might be a situation where the brother would live somewhere in a supported community or home or situation like that. So that was foundation number 2. Third foundation would be when I got to school. I am a very interesting case. I could make a whole other video on this, but I went to a private school, a public school, and a charter school. The only kind of schooling that I didn't do was Montessori or homeschool. So I've really experienced so many kinds of education and systems. I was in private school for 7 or 8 years. I was in public school for a year and a half, and I was in a charter school for almost 4 years. So, I met a lot of, different people. Students, friends, peers, enemies, foes, admin, teachers, all throughout these places and systems, because the schools were not next to each other. So different ways of life and different standards and like school sizes. I saw a lot of different kinds of teaching. And then I graduated from high school, from middle, or I'm not middle, whoa, I just skipped elementary, I guess. Elementary to middle to high school, middle, elementary, middle to high school to graduation. And I do feel comfortable saying that I went to Winona State University in Winona, Minnesota. Go Warriors. No one says that. We don't care about the mascot. I'm so sorry if you're watching this, but nobody cares about the Warriors. I don't know. Maybe things have changed, but I don't know. I'm gonna stop saying fight me, because I keep saying that and someone's gonna run up on me in real life and lay me out. Okay, So I went to Winona State University. I'd love to film a video there because it's such a cool town. If you're an outdoors person, even if you're an indoors person, Winona is beautiful. There's so much to do. It is kind of a crazy place. A lot of people think that it's just a small, quiet little town, and it is not. What was that? Okay. Oh, it's not like a quaint little town. It's kind of wild if you look around and hear like the happenings, especially since I left. It was already like whatever. It was like a little whatever back in my day, but now it's like whoa. But I think everywhere is kind of wild. That's also a point for a different video. So I went to Winona State University and I double majored. 2 majors. I got a major in English, so I could be a general education English teacher, grades of 5 to 12, and I could do special education, learning disabilities. That's the whole pie right there. 1, 2. Well, that's 2 pies because 1 major, 2 major. That's 2 pies right there. Okay. I'm so cheesy. Okay. So, sorry, it's the end of the day. I'm like playing with my hair and whatnot. Okay. So, I go to Winona. I'm there for 4 years. I student teach for 1 whole year because when you have 1 major, 2 majors, you have to do a semester and a semester. I think that's okay. It's not dumb, but teachers are already on a budget. So I'm basically doing free work for a whole year. I could have done so much with that money, even if it was just a little bit. And I didn't get a stipend. And I did practicum in Winona where I had to drive to a farm town 45 minutes away 3 days a week to work with the kids, which is fine. But like, no one else had to drive that far. I had to drive so far, didn't get paid for that, and then on top of that, it's like, right after doing that for like 4 or 5 months, then they're like, surprise, you don't get paid for a year either once you graduate. Well, before graduation, but you know what I mean. Like, student teaching feels like the test. Like, you have graduated because you're doing the job, but you're not graduated yet. It's such a weird mindset that we don't talk about. They should have a whole college class for student teaching, but put a pin in that. So, what was I gonna say? So I graduate after, well, back up a little bit. So, okay, so elementary, middle, high school. Then I go to Winona for 4 years. And I do that practicum in the farm town, like, during my senior year. Then, I student teach for a year. I work in an elementary school doing special education stuff, near the cities, near Minneapolis and St. Paul. It was great, right? I do not want to ever do elementary again if I can help it. Now listen, that's not a negative. That's me being honest. And I would tell you that in a conversation. I've said that to people. I meant to work with high schoolers. To me, they're not scary. They don't pee themselves. They don't poop everywhere. They don't get snot all over you. They don't cry every 5 minutes over nothing. Like nothing. Why are you crying? Why are you crying? Guys, I had to teach math to children. That was a psychological experiment to see how quickly I would break. Never again. So, I mean, I became a way better teacher after that, but wow, that I don't teachers. I have a lot of English teacher friends. Let me get a drink. And those friends, a lot of them do middle school. I might be okay with that, but when I did my second half of student teaching, the other one for my English, I did in middle school. But here's the other thing. COVID struck. Guys, I don't think you're supposed to say, like, you're supposed to call it something dumb, like the panini, it starts with a P, even COVID, but I already mentioned it, and we're so far in the video, I don't even know if YouTube cares. It's such a dumb thing to care about. Bring back real words and not slang that means the other word. So, I work with the kids, I survive, I almost don't make it out alive. And then I get to work with middle school. I'm like, yay, like, okay, I wanted to work with high school, but whatever, we're still outside, Minneapolis, St. Paul, like, it's fine. Go to the middle school, I'm there for like a month and a half, we're doing Shakespeare, it's fun. And then it hits, right? You know what I'm talking about. So, it's 2019, everything changes, I'm doing teaching online, it's wild, it's okay, but I hate it. And then I graduate, and Winona State University says, do you want to come down? And I say, no, I want to save money and stay home. I didn't even watch the graduation where they read my name, so, I don't know, I didn't go to my master's graduation either, I just was kind of over it. Okay. So, I graduate Winona, and, we're still in the situation that was happening in 2019, 2020. I tried to work at the school that I student taught at, the middle school, and I did not get that job, which was a huge blessing in disguise. Another one of my coworkers applied and also did not get the job. We both applied for the school that we work at now, and we're here, and we've been here ever since. So that's kind of my journey, if you're wondering, like, what credentials I have to even be talking about anything in education and teaching. I am going to make a video, basically about my years of teaching as seasons of a TV show. Hear me out. Hear me out, hear me out. I think it's really important to document things. We document a lot of things with our phones and with pictures, but I'm a huge advocate for, like, writing things down. It just feels more personal. And when I started teaching, I knew that the years would go by fast. And guys, I started in the situation in 2019, 2020. I started 2020. No one on Earth, well, okay, let's calm down a little bit. Most people on Earth will never know what it was like to begin teaching that year. Nobody knew what to do. Nobody knew what was going on. Shout out to the people I worked with, teachers, admin, everybody, because I had a pretty good start, even when we had no idea what was going on. What I loved and missed about that era was that every single question, the response was, I don't know. What is this? When is this due? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And guess what? We figured it out because we are so far beyond that time period, but it was really wild. So when I make that video, I will talk about, just making sure my computer doesn't stop recording. It's okay. I will talk about that because I started in 2020. I have a document with every single year of teaching that has notes about situations and things that happened. So I have a PowerPoint with one slide per of teaching that I've done. And every slide is a season of the TV show, which is my teaching career, whatever, I don't know. Every season has a title. You know, one season is 1 year, and I just jot stuff throughout the year that's happened or that I think is funny. And it's not about tea or drama, because that's not productive. It's more so like things that warm my heart, people that are important to me, funny situations. It's more like more or less funny. And I remember those things, and then what's really fun is I totally forget if I don't go in the document. When I update it like a couple months later, I look back and see what was so important at the time. And when I edit it, I keep a version of like the original, and then I edit it. And yeah, I like kind of, you know, finagle it and like adjust it for, you know, I make it polished. But it's really good. I feel like it's really healthy to see that the things that you're going through at the moment, you'll remember some of it, but a lot of it might get trauma dumped like out of your brain, or it just doesn't matter. You know, there are so many times when I see the way that people have grown. You know, kids just randomly like disappear, or like a situation just evaporated and it was such a big deal, now it's not. I think it's really interesting too, because I kind of comment on like who was my boss, who were the admin, my advisory, like these people that I spent so much time with, like who was I dealing with, who left, who showed up. Yeah, I don't know. It's fun. So we are currently in season 6. Season 6, we got renewed for season 6, and I will make a whole video on it. What's really fun, guys, is I haven't checked the document for a while, so when I make the video, I think I'll just blind react. And obviously I would not put personal information. We've said that many times, but I feel like I should mention it. We will not put personal information in that video, but and I'm not gonna like spill beans about even like the funny stories, even if they're like really old. I'll just touch on things that are appropriate and professional. So that's my gist. Yeah, I also feel like I'm gonna end it with this thought, and then we'll do spray of the day. So, what was I gonna say? What they don't tell you with teaching is you really carry a lot with you when you leave. You know, retired teachers, there's always a news story about how kindergarten class like came back when they retired and they're all adults, or you know, a teacher passes away, sadly. You know, but how many people are at the funeral, because there's like years of people that interacted with that person. And I think this might be a positive thing that I could put in I'm gonna work on like things I love about teaching. This one was the first, so we have a little like, you know, I'll stop saying foundation, a little bit of a base to build up off of as far as the lore dropping goes. But with this job, the people don't disappear when they leave, right? Graduation is important, but people don't just evaporate, so they come back. You hear about where they're at. I've had people reach out to me just to check in, or you know, ask for a recommendation, or like whatever. And it's important to me to remember what was happening. You know, I'll get into it in the video, but I'm not the same person that I was now when I started. I think I'm a better version. You know, some people grow for better, or they get worse, and maybe that's good, bad, or different. I don't know. But I will end by saying that there's a lot of things that I've gained from this, right? I know there's a lot of conversation about pay, and that is very, very important, because everything comes, you know, down to money and education. conversation. Pin it for later. But what about the things that you gain that aren't monetary? The relationships and the people and the memories. I might not be wealthy, but I'm wealthy in relationships and love and conversation, and wealthy in really funny stories. The things that I go through on a daily basis are truly amazing and insane and crazy. But I'm not it's if you have a different job, jobs are important for different reasons, but with this job something is always happening, and I always have something to talk about. When someone asks about work, we're going to talk about work because you best believe that something is happening. So I'm going to pause and pause the video, and we'll come back with spray of the day. Alright, so spray of the day. In my park video, I think I forgot to do it. I'm trying, and I'm not going to beat myself up for it. I had the spray, which is this one, but it was in my car, so it's okay. There's a lot of moving parts to that video, and it turned out really great. So, speaking of funny stories, this is about something that happened a couple years ago, and the student is graduated now. This is not a bad story, right? This is on the seasons. I put this in one of the season slides that this happened because it was random and just funny. And I have a piece of this student with me right now. So what am I talking about? Check this bottle out. Okay, so this is a cologne, and I know I teach reading, but I think it's BAI space MENG Bao Mang or Bai Mang. I think it's Bao Mang. And there are some I don't want to say, is it calligraphy, right? I'm not sure what language. I don't want to say something wrong, but or give you false information. But it's a perfume right down here. Okay, so the funny story, I wonder if I can set it up here. I don't think I can, but the funny story is this is not like a spray. I don't spray this in the room, but this is in, I should take a picture or show you a video of the drawer of all the sprays that I have. So okay, the story is not even hard to tell. Why am I it's just been a long day. So I'm in class. The class is great. The class is fine. And this student carries around this cologne every single day. It's in their backpack. It's the mesh pouch, and this is in it. So I know to this day, I don't understand this. I know that this belongs to this student. Okay. For some reason, the student left it out. The student used this all the time. I don't understand this story. So I don't even know if you can hear it. Okay. Anyway, so one day it falls out of the bag, right? And I know that it belongs to that person. So I'm like, great, I'll just pick it up, put it in the drawer, and then I'll give it to them the next day. Problem solved. It's a miracle because so many things go missing, right? I found it. The next day comes, and I say, hey, I have your cologne in the drawer. The student says, what cologne? I said, your cologne, the black one. I think we're good. So the black one that you use periodically, it's always on the outside. And they say, that's not mine. I say, don't you use this a lot? The student says, no. Oh, you don't want to use it anymore? No, that's not mine. No, but it is yours, because it's not like I have 35 kids. I usually only have 15 at the most, and that's even kind of a lot. They say, no, it's not mine. And I'm like, you want it? Because this is yours. They said no. So I'm like, I guess I'll just hold on to it. When you want it back, let me know, because it's yours. Unless it was never yours, but like, no, but like, I mean, it's not like they take it from somebody. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't understand if they took it and it wasn't theirs, so that's why they were confused. But they had it forever and then lost it in my room and then never wanted it back. So now I use it because that person is gone and they never wanted it. So let's talk about, I guess, the scent. It's very, like, it is a masculine scent. It's kind of like medium to heavy as far as like musky. It's musky. It's very like athletic, you know, like I feel like an athlete would wear this post practice, like you're trying not to be too sweaty or something. Okay. So, I mean, I've used it like if I need to refresh after a morning workout or at the end of the day before conferences. Not a room spray, but the student, great student, awesome person, by the way. But it's like the mystery, like, was it yours to begin with then? Because to me, I never saw anybody with that, so I would assume that it was yours. I don't know. I guess I have to stop thinking about it because it's just a circle, and it makes me laugh. But I do miss that student. So, anyway, do you know what time it is? It's time for me to head out. I have to get going home. More homecoming days, more videos to plan, more videos to edit.